Did you know that Tinder makes the bulk of their money exploiting the loneliness of their user base? This is especially true for young men, who make up the biggest investors into Tinder's aggressive business model. But how exactly does this work, and how much money does Tinder make off of young men? Find out in this video as we break down how Tinder got this big in the first place, and how their strategy shifted into what it is today. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video too, for a thorough explanation on just how profitable the loneliness of young men has been for Tinder. Chapter 1. Getting in first. Tinder was the first dating service of its time for straight men and women, and the only one ahead of it overall was Grindr. Tinder quickly took off and got a name for itself among college kids and young adults. What Tinder was offering was twofold, and that was what made it so much more successful and exciting than other dating services. There wasn't some in-depth profile or lots of steps to go into, and more than anything, the service was about hookups more than finding love. Tinder had a great start because they were among the first to do it, yes, but there's obviously a lot more to it than that. They also had a great system, and they made swiping on profiles feel fresh and exciting. They also let you change settings like distance, age, and more so that you could get matching in no time at all. But more than anything, Tinder succeeded because they had such a huge influx of users come in and try the service out. This created so many opportunities for people to match with coworkers, friends, and strangers. It was social media that felt risky and had a lot of excitement around it. Social media in general is about numbers. You want to have more people on it so that everyone feels like they are in the best and most popular place at all times. This is doubly true for dating apps, and Tinder more or less used this advantage to fuel their run as the top dog in the industry for years. The thing was, a lot of people just use Tinder for the ego boost, and it felt good to know that someone in one of your classes or that you see at the gym finds you attractive. On top of that, so many people were on Tinder and using it that the bad reputation that dating app users was now completely gone, and it was cool to be on Tinder. The saying has been done to death at this point, but for Tinder, their best success early on was successfully pulling off the "this isn't your parents' dating app" strategy to massive success. Seemingly overnight, people were flooding to join the app, and it felt so organic. Over time, Tinder would obviously lean into a safer and more corporate feel as they had more to lose. But early on, their more authentic presentation and structure for the app definitely helped to bring in some more new faces. Tinder got rid of any obligations or expectations from the dating game, while still leaving the door open for people that were genuinely using it to find a long-term partner. The Tinder community continued to grow, which only gave people more options to choose from. The swiping feature too became almost viral on its own. It was just so easy to approve or deny people, and the little boost of confidence that you got from receiving a match was enough to keep people on the app for hours at a time. Suddenly, people were using this app like they would Twitter or Facebook, opening it up when they were bored, waiting, or basically anywhere. Tinder noticed that people were swiping quite a lot per day, and realized that there was even more money to be made here. Tinder slowly began rolling out a premium service that started out just as Tinder Gold. This little change would actually make a huge difference to their business model though, as well as how they wanted to make their money. It feels like things could go either way with Tinder at this point. Would their model become exploitative and open the door for competition to take over? Or would they be able to have their cake and eat it too? We'll tell you the answer in a moment, but before that, if you're enjoying the video so far, why not give us a like? It helps us out a lot and we really appreciate the support. Also consider subscribing to our channel for more videos just like this one. Chapter 2. Playing the long game. Eventually, Tinder felt like it was time to get serious about things. They slowly rolled out Tinder Gold, and would even limit the number of swipes a person could make per day if they chose not to join the premium membership. This is what is known in the tech world as a freemium service. Essentially, this means that while you can go without spending a cent, you will have a much smoother and better experience on the app if you choose to hand over your credit card info. Tinder had discovered early on that their male demographic was a lot more active on the app than their female counterparts. This wasn't to say that there weren't women on Tinder who enjoyed and messed around on the app, but on average, men were the ones that spent the bulk of their time looking for matches. Data pulled from Tinder from around this time estimated that male users were getting onto the app 11 times a day on average, and so Tinder decided to adjust their plan to target that audience even more. Tinder was becoming an app with so many users that some people were finding it difficult to meet people that they felt attracted to. This was especially the case for women, who were left with a lot more options for matches than their male counterparts. By simply using supply and demand here, most of you can figure out what went on next. Tinder created a model that would help create more matches for women, while creating incentive for men to pay money to the app to stand out more. But what would this model look like? And how would it impact Tinder as a platform? Chapter 3. Stacking the Deck. Tinder's algorithm was created in order to get people of similar attractiveness levels together. In theory, this seems like a great idea, as it would mean you should get more eyes on your profile by people that might be in your league. In practice, however, this only rewarded people that trended toward the more attractive side of things. Roughly 80% of the matches on Tinder go to the top 20% of the app in terms of appearance, which already stacks the odds against you a bit. But, like we said earlier, you should be able to get more eyes on you from the people not falling into that zone, right? Well, not exactly. If you are a man using Tinder and you decide not to pay for the premium services, you are losing out on almost all the fun the app has to offer. As of 2023, the average male user that only gets about one match per every 115 profiles seen. Because of the limits, this means that these men are getting less than a single match a day on average. But why would Tinder do this, you might be asking? Well, if you are someone on this dating app, you are either looking to get a little bit of confidence through matches, or you are looking to genuinely meet people. Either way, you are being robbed of that positive reaction on Tinder. The app's become so stable and has so many users constantly flooding in that they no longer value every user like they once did. At this point in the story, Tinder is happy to push their premium service at men as the only way to actually get matches. But how do they even do it? Chapter 4. Selling a fantasy. If you are the average man on Tinder, you have probably felt frustrated at times with how little it seems like you are being matched with people. Whether it's near your home or when you use it on the go, it just doesn't feel like Tinder's working for you. It's usually around this point that the constant Tinder advertisements begin to hold more weight. You've already switched up your profile, created the best bio you can, and now all that's left is to finally pull out your wallet. Today, Tinder offers 3 main services above the free one: Tinder Plus, Tinder Gold, and Tinder Platinum. All 3 of these services promise a bit more to their user base, and it's how Tinder makes their money off of mainly lonely men. Tinder has effectively created a platform that doesn't work for anyone but the most attractive of men and those that are willing to pay up to $18 a month. Tinder also increases the price for each tier if you are over the age of 30, further proving how aggressive they are willing to get with their premium options. The app is targeting young men in order to fill out their ranks and keep the same reputation that they have had for years. They don't really want older men, as then they will become no different than dating apps like eHarmony. It may not seem like a big deal, but it's clear that Tinder simply sells a fantasy to the young men that decide to go on the app. The likelihood of them finding a match without paying is low, and so after they break down their confidence a little bit, they start to market their tiered model to them. They literally state things like, you could get over 10 matches a day with Tinder Plus on the app itself, to make you completely aware of how easier things could be. If your goal is to talk to and eventually meet women, you may not be that against paying $8 a month for Tinder Plus, and eventually you may even upgrade again to get even more matches. The point here is that none of it is real. Should we commend Tinder for getting the most out of their app and finding a group of users that are willing to pay through the nose for matches? Yes, from a business point of view, it's absolutely great and pretty innovative too. But it's fair to question how long they can keep something like this up. If word of mouth starts to spread, there are so many apps out there today like Bumble for people to try out, and it may start to hurt Tinder in the long run. It will be very interesting to see how all of this turns out, because it honestly feels like it could end up being either a great or terrible gamble for them. Only time will tell though, and in the meantime, it seems like Tinder is almost valueless as a free service. And that about brings us all up to date about how Tinder has been making money off of lonely boys. Who's in the wrong here though? Is it the boys for choosing to pay money to take part in the app's experience while women don't have to? Or is it the company for exploiting these young men and creating such a predatory model? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, as we would love to read what you guys have to say. And as always, if you could leave a like on the video if you enjoyed and subscribe to the channel for more videos, we would greatly appreciate it. See you on the next video.